Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Sandra Ferrari with Real Estate Investing. I am so happy to be here with you today. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am so glad you can tune in to join me today so we could go over the second part about Forma. The topic today, I know it's not a pleasant one. Sometimes it may be intimidating, and this is where I come in. Right here, right now, to help you to go through the Forma, to understand what those are, and to start investing yourself. So let's not delay any time further. Let's dive in and build wealth together. I would like to share my screen with you this time because the last time I promised that I would share the screen regarding the Forma that I received regarding a property that I purchased in Tennessee, which I still hold today. It has been really good to myself and my sister, who happens to be my partner in this deal. So we are going to go through it line by line to understand what this is about. It is a one single family with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in a very nice neighborhood in Memphis, Tennessee. And we are going to go through this right now. So without any delay, I am going to share my screen with you now. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look over here. Look at the page. If you look at the right side, you are going to see the Forma that I am talking about. In this scenario with this property, the purchase price, as you can see, is $118,000. That was the asking price that was proposed to us, that we had agreed to obtain the property at. As I mentioned before in the last video, this is a one family in a good neighborhood where the property was gut rehabbed. So let's review a little bit. What is that? What is gut rehab? Gut rehab, it's when a property has been taken out completely. It's like you stripped something down, you cleaned it out, you repaired it, you fix it, and it's all ready to go. It's rent ready. No, I did not have to do this. Another investor did all the work. This is what you call wholesaling. So this is someone who probably purchased this property at a low price, but they put their own money in it, or however they did it. If they borrowed that money, they got to return it with an interest. So now after they have fixed it, they look at the repair value, they saw it was a good deal, and now they passed it on to me. And guess what? My business partner and I, we're ready to take on this property. We looked at the pictures, we viewed it, and we saw this was something that fit our criteria. Remember, it has to fit your criteria, because a broker can send you anything, but you must do your due diligence. And this is part of the due diligence that we had to study the Forma. As I said before, the asking price is $118,000. If you look at the second line, you're going to see that the down payment that was being asked was $23,600. Yes, this has to come from me and my partner. A down payment was needed to purchase this property. In addition, the estimated closing cost. I don't know if you see what I said here. I pause after the word estimated because sometimes there could be a little variation. Beware of that. The estimated closing cost for this particular deal was $5,000. And there was no expense for rehab. Remember, the property was gut rehab, so there was nothing that I was gonna do in that regard. So we go straight down to the broker's fee, which is a $3,500. We had all agreed to that, and the total out-of-pocket expenses is $33,000. So this is how I knew that I needed $33,000. But before we go on, if you look at the chart, there's something I wanted to point out. I emphasize the word estimated closing cost. Why? Because, as I said earlier, there could be a little adjustment. It could be less, it could be more. Is it safe to have a little bit more? I would always caution anyone and everyone to have a little bit more. Let's say, for instance, you're borrowing this money from your in-laws. You let them know this is a good deal. They love you because you're such a good in-law. You take care of their child. They're gonna love you and lend you that money. Or if this is your own money, you don't want to pass out on a deal because you short $500. So have that little extra, which I call reserves. I believe in reserves. You must always have reserves. That goes without saying. My motto is to have a little bit of reserve because you never know. Are we all on the same page? Is this clear? So the purchase price for this property in this pro forma, for the property that I listed here as 123 Main Street in Memphis, Tennessee, was $118,000. The down payment, $23,600, that is coming from me and my partner. The estimated closing costs as it stood then was $5,900. In addition, we had the broker's fee, which is $3,500, totaling an out-of-pocket expense of $33,000. Is everyone with me? So now let's do a little analysis. In this page, it also told me when the property was actually built. The year that the property was built is 1999. So it wasn't so old, because when I purchased this property, it was in 2000, I believe it was 2015. So it wasn't that old, on or about 16 years old, but it needed work. So it's not an old property. It needed work and it got done. And it wasn't from me. I purchased it from another investor. So the year that it was built was 1999. The square feet is 1350. And there were 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. This is only one level. The whole property is one level. It was a beautiful house. If you're looking at the picture here, you can see, look at the front. The grass during the summer is green. It's beautiful. It's attractive. And those are important. When somebody is coming to rent a property from you, they look at all that. It's called curb appeal. You're going to hear that word. Wouldn't you want to live in a place that looks nice, that looks pretty? Then it's the same way your tenant, your prospective tenant, will want a beautiful place. Just like I'm showing you here. If the property was gut, the roof was new. Listen, every single thing is new. It was so beautiful that when I saw it, I said, I want to live there myself. So this is the type of property we have for our tenants. We don't just have anything. It's something that I would desire to live as well into, that I want to put out for my tenant. Because this area, as you can see, this is a very good area. I'm not saying to mistreat anyone if it's a bad area, because sometimes you have certain type of tenants. There's certain things you do, it doesn't fit your budget. It doesn't work. But this was a beautiful property that my tenant would love to have. So my friends, if you look at this, isn't it something that you would like to do? But don't you want to go a little bit further? So I'm going to slide down in a moment so we could go through a bit more about this deal. All right? Now, let's look at the second part, because this is getting very interesting, right? So we know the down payment was 20%, as I went over it with you before. The closing cost was running us about 5%. And we did get a loan on this, all right? The down payment wasn't enough because this is 118, right? So the interest rate we purchased this property was 4.875. It wasn't bad because we purchased this house over 10 years ago. The property management fee was about 8%. It's the norm. That is industry norm. And we also factored in the vacancy rate, which was 10%. And the annual rent increase for that area is 5%. And the annual appreciation, meaning how the value of the house goes up, is 3% in this area. So you see, we didn't just buy this thing without looking. We look at every aspect of this, and we have definitely realized that it was something we want to work with. In addition, the monthly rent is about $1,050. we had to pay the mortgage. The principal was running us $499.57. So $1,050 for the monthly rent, $499 for the monthly principal, as well as monthly taxes was $92.08. And the insurance, yes, people, you have to take insurance. I know a lot of investors will tell you, don't worry. You cannot purchase a property, a rental property, and not put insurance. You have to have insurance. It's a must. I am begging each and every one of you, if you want to get into this venture, you must at all costs get insurance. I know it's part of your cash flow, but it's better safe than sorry. Wouldn't you say that? So the insurance was $70.83. So a PITI, so principal, taxes, insurance runs us about $662.49. But remember, the monthly rent is $1,000.50. As I described to you before, my criteria for this property was, after paying everything we needed to pay, I wanted, my business partner and I, we wanted to make at least $300 or more. Therefore, if you were to take away $662.49, we're left with $300. So it fits my criteria. If you look further, as I'm going down, look at the income and expenses in this sheet right here. The first year pro forma, the gross rent was $12,600. Taxes was about $1,100. Insurance, $850. There's no HOA. I am not going to cover what HOA is, but certain areas you have HOA to pay. That did not apply, so we're going to move down. Property management fee on a yearly basis was over $1,008. The net operating income, or NOI, was $9,637. I netted a monthly cash flow of $303.51. Yes! My goal was 300. I'm getting 303, so it fits my criteria. And if you look at year 2, you can look. The gross rent went up 13,230. Anyone can guess why? I'm going to tell you. Anyone think? We raised the rent. We did. Remember, we can increase the rent. When we looked and did our due diligence, we knew that you can raise rent in this area and an annual rate of 5%. The third year, we made $13,891. The fourth year, $14,586. And the fifth year, $15,315. And guess what? We were building equity. During those 5 years, not only we're getting our regular rent, annual rent, but we're building equity. Look at this. The cap rate for the first year was 8.17%. Our cash on cash return by the fifth year is 13.97%. And if you don't know what those terms are, I have other videos that describe those things. And I want you to go and do your own diligence and learn about it. And if you have any questions, put your comments below. I need to know what you don't understand. If you don't know what cap rate is, what is cash on cash return, principal reduction, I think you know what that means. So this is where I was saying to you, we're building equity. By the fifth year, we already took out $7,712. And does anyone know what my principal was? Because I put a down payment of $23,600 out of $118. I'm going to let you guys do the math so you could know within 5 years, I build up equity. I want to hear your comments. Go ahead, put them down below, and I will answer them. By the end of the fifth year, we had enough capital if we did not spend that money to reinvest. I will not go further. I will stop right here because I think you guys already know what I've done with the money that I've gotten. Yes, my business partner and I reinvested it. Actually, we didn't reinvest our money until a couple years later, so we had more money to reinvest in a property in California. That is a story for another time, but I hope that this pro forma that you have here was really helpful, because this one describes you the property information, including the year that it was built, the purchasing price, the down payment, the assumption that I went over with you perhaps a bit really fast, but it's the down payment, which is 20%, the closing cost at a 5% rate, the annual rent increase, all of this I touch upon, and the finance income breakdown, how much the monthly rent was, and how much we were going to pay for the principal, taxes, and insurance, which is the PITI, right? And you look at the pro forma for 5 years. Our cash and cash return was 13.97. We had enough money to reinvest within 5 years if we wanted to, because listen, the sky's the limit. Go do this. I know you can. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to put them below. All I ask is that if you found value in what I'm telling you right now, what I'm trying to teach you, please give it 2 thumbs up, like it, share it, subscribe. I will see you at the next video. Bye-bye.